Since I made my first video on Deepin 15.2, I've taken a deeper look at it over a period of time and have some additional observations. One thing I did is I changed this docky down here to a panel, the classic panel. However, one of the things I noticed about Deepin is it's not very configurable, at least at this point. I found no way of moving this panel around or making a second panel. I haven't found any way to add new themes or new window decorations, but it appears to me that this is based on GTK3 and that what works in GNOME will probably work on this. Now, the literature I saw initially said that this version of Deepin was based on the Qt5 framework. If that's true, it certainly doesn't look like it to me. It looks like GTK3 through and through. If you know more about this issue, let me know. One thing you may notice is that I succeeded in installing Simple Screen Recorder from the Deepin repository. That's a real plus as far as I'm concerned. I had a little trouble. At first it wouldn't install. I tried installing it with Synaptic, which is another thing that I had to install from the terminal, and that didn't work either. But the second time I tried it, Simple Screen Recorder installed with no problem at all from Synaptic Package Manager. Another thing I installed successfully was GNOME boxes. There's a case where I tried installing it from the Deepin store, and it said it installed. But when I tried running it, there was no GNOME boxes on the system. When I looked in Synaptic Package Manager, it says there was no GNOME boxes installed, so the Deepin store is somewhat unreliable. However, I have boxes installed, and I'll show you how it works. Now I installed Debian 8.5 in boxes, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of that. I'm not going to do the whole thing. This is Debian 8.5 with the Monte desktop. This was the live disk version, similar to other Monte distributions. However, it doesn't have as much software installed. It does have LibreOffice, however. So that's a quick look at GNOME boxes. However, I did have problems with it. I installed Debian 8.5 with no trouble originally, but when I went back to it and tried to run it, it wouldn't run. So I looked in their help facility, and it said the files are installed in local share GNOME boxes and images. And there it is. So what I had to do is I had to move it from downloads, where I had it, into this folder, and then it ran perfectly. Now, I mentioned that the Software Center is somewhat peripatetic. That may be due to the fact that the connection with the repository is a little bit weak. So I wasn't quite sure how to change repositories, but I stumbled upon it by accident, where it says update. Click on that little gear, and then you'll see mirrors switch. So I clicked on that, and I had a choice of mirrors, and I used this. There were two in the United States, Georgia Institute of Technology and James Madison University. So I clicked on James Madison University, and it seems to be working fine now. Another thing that works fine is printing and scanning. Print settings here came with the system, and it's a typical GNOME print settings. In addition to that, I downloaded and installed the HP Toolbox, the device manager, and I find that that helps with whatever system I'm on. Makes a lot of interesting noises also. Both printing and scanning worked fine. The only reason I can't show you is that I only have two USB ports on this particular computer. The microphone is using one, and my external drive is using the other, so I can't plug in the printer at the same time. However, this is the scanned document that I made. You may recognize this file manager as Nautilus, which is provided with GNOME 3.18 and others. Here they just call it files, of course. I really don't like Nautilus, and many people don't. but I found it very easy to install an alternate file browser, and I chose Nemo, which comes with Cinnamon. I'm going to use a Synaptic Package Manager. Search for Nemo. And apply. Now, this files up here is Nautilus. This files down here is Nemo. I could embed this more deeply in the system than I have at this point. But you can see the difference already. There's a lot more information on here. It's a lot more flexible. There's a lot more you can do with it. So if I were to keep Deepin, I would definitely run Nemo instead of Nautilus. So that's just a little bit deeper look at Deepin 15.2. This is XRAM Tech. Thanks for watching.